You know what's up. Good afternoon, guys. You have to excuse me once again. My voice is hoarse, so please forgive me. Excuse the background. My husband's playing his game, so you might hear some gunshots and stuff. I'm all right. It's just the game in the background. I was trying to do this earlier, but our brother went live, and then Trent went live, and everybody was live, and it was just crazy for the moment. Sylvia went on talking big Met dumb shit, and her dumb ass and her fucking Paw Patrol and everybody that rode with her. I can't with those people. I cannot. I can't. I can't. They need to leave people the fuck alone. For real. It's a sad situation. You know? You're messing around with other bloggers, and then you have the feds watching you. You have the feds watching you, but yet you still go and do dumb shit. So instead of helping R. Kelly, they're messing him up. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll be all right. You're gonna be in an indictment one of these days, because this case is not gonna be 1, 2, 3. I don't think so. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. Like, let's be real here. The only reason why New York is taking his case now is because in New York, the court system is moving a little bit faster than Chicago. The pandemic in Chicago is much higher than it is in New York. So, for anybody who's wondering why New York is going to go first, that's why. So, anywho, hello once again, ladies. Diva Time, my love. Angie, my love. Robin, my other love. Who else is up in here? Who else? Oh, just y'all. And then the Bush babies. What's up? The other two people who are in the back. Oh, one other person, actually, because I got 3 girls in here. What's up, y'all? So, can you guys hear my voice? Do like, let me get another bottle of water. I forgot my water. Thank you. I'm sorry about that, guys. So, yesterday, we were, we are at part 3 now. And, oh, wait. Sorry, I'm trying to get this. Why isn't that? Okay. We were Okay. Alrighty. Hello, everyone out in the world today. Once again, as I said, we're at part 3 now. We are at chapter 5. Yesterday, we read about Aaliyah, and we learned that Aaliyah was 13 years old when she first met R. Kelly, and that at 15 is when she did her album. It was debuted because at 14 she was doing the album. So we could kind of figure out that at the age of, let's say, 13 and 14, he kind of groomed her to trust her. To trust him. And then finally it led up to a point where they started having sex. She got pregnant, allegedly, right? And then got married. And then the parents had everything annulled, right? And I found out something interesting yesterday. Hey, Purple. I found out something interesting yesterday on Trent's Live that Aaliyah and R. Kelly both had twin Jeeps. I didn't even know that. Look at that. He gave her a dog. We know that. You know, he loved Aaliyah. He loved Aaliyah. He treated her different. The other girls were just girls to just feed his appetite. But he fell in love with Aaliyah. And I think if that man would have probably waited, you know, and developed that friendship and trust and built that solid foundation up until she was of age, at least 18. Well, in Chicago, it's 17. He could have waited till she was 17 and then decided to be with her. He couldn't wait 4 years for her? Really? That just goes to show you how horny he is. He even said it. His horniness helps his music. He said it. I read all of this. Okay, Aaliyah turned them out. Lord. Aaliyah didn't know nothing. What are you talking about? Tell your husband I said no. Okay, what's going on my other? All right. Anybody in Facebook? Tell me what's going on out there in Facebook. Can somebody make a comment? Because Aisha, what's up, mama? I've been here for 13 minutes. I haven't started anything yet, guys. You know, I'm letting you guys kind of crawl in a little bit. And we're kind of recapping a little bit. So, I'm trying to put my phone somehow. Okay, maybe I can put it there. Yeah. All right, but why is it not? Okay, this is weird. All right, let me go back. Okay, why is it only on? All right. Now, we also know that, I believe, Barry Hankerson, he wasn't part of any of that. He didn't know anything about their relationship. He didn't know. He didn't know. So a lot of people knew because they started talking and whispering. So rumors were flying. Hey, Destiny. Hey, D. I see you. I'm reading a book about R. Kelly. Jason Finch, if you're going to come in here and you want to just listen, that's cool with me, bro. I'm telling you right now, you are not coming over here to start no drama. So, hey to you too, Jason. Brooke, what's up, sis? I'm just letting you know. We good, Jason? Give me a thumbs up if you're going to behave. Because if you're not going to behave, you could just jump the fuck off, okay? I'm letting you know now. I'm just reading a book. And that's all it is. And while I'm reading the book, I'm throwing my opinions. That's all that it is. Don't come over here hating, perpetrating, and acting a fool. Because your ass could be blocked. Got it? Mods, y'all already know. Y'all already know. My girls already know. People could rock. I don't give a fuck about people rocking. Just respect. Or you will get chopped. All right. Thank you very much, Jason. I could appreciate that. My sister's calling me. What's up, babe?
Hello?
Yeah, mama.
You on live?
I'm on live right now. I was just making sure I set up rules because, crazy people already started jumping in my chat. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But I'm about to read my book, so if you want to join in the chat. Yo, if y'all want to join in the chat, you could join in the chat. I'm on my live. I'm continuing reading the book. I'm on chapter 5. And we're about to talk about how R. Kelly believed he could fly. What?
I'm so over R. Kelly, I don't care.
Good morning, good morning, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon. Jessica, some dude inboxed me talking about if I want to make some dollars.
Okay. Okay, sorry about the interruption, guys. My other sisters were just calling me. That's all right, mama. Don't worry, baby. We know you working, sweetie. All right. Now, let's get into chapter 5. Now that we got that over with. I Believe I Can Fly, chapter 5. As R. Kelly's career matured into the mid 1990s, his music began to take on a more serious tone, reflecting what appeared to many to be a personal period of discovery in his life, centering around a search for faith. More importantly, Kelly was in the same time struggling to shake a lifestyle that, up to that point, had focused on indulgence, wherein Kelly's excesses had clearly begun to catch up with his conscious and deeper belief in Judgment Day. The bump and grind period of my life was just a mood. I've been through a lot in the past 2 years, and I've learned a lot about myself. You can't stay stuck in one groove. He had utilized his gift thus far largely to observe the pompous side of his extremely sexual ego, and he now sought to focus on his more pious his more pious side in hopes of evolving into a more spiritually centered performer and individual. I have to step back and look at this thing like it's show enough is with the gospel. I'm not just trying to entertain. At my age, I'm going through things within myself, thinking about what I want to do in the future, what I'm doing in my life and in my career. I look at whatever I'm doing on stage as taking a step more toward God. Because if it weren't for Him, I wouldn't be here. The more I live, I'm starting to realize the more I live, I'm starting to realize that more and more every day. While Kelly was clearly looking ahead, it was his mother's passing that had caused him to first begin looking back in deep examination. On the first few years of his career, perhaps questioning his own spiritual conviction in the course of processing his mother's demise, or possibly in an effort to more precisely define his professional persona toward his personal goals beyond that of the erotic. Kelly was clearly seeking to grow closer to God. When my mother passed, she went to heaven. I truly believe that. The only way I'm going to see her again is if I make it to heaven. Kelly's belief in God had always been peripherally evident in his music, but his lyrical preoccupation with sex had left many critics and fans alike considering him something of a musical contradiction, questioning how connected Kelly truly was to any genuine personal spirituality. With the release of a new album in November of 1995, simply titled R. Kelly, the singer was clearly looking to make a change in the way his musical direction was heading commercially, seeking to head away from the horny and more toward the holy. One revealing song among the album's collection of more mature tracks was an ode to Kelly's mother, in which Kelly pleads, and I quote, of course, "Heaven, if you hear me, I need you. Please come back home." It has been widely believed by both fans and critics alike that the term heaven in the song was code for mother. More important to Kelly's overall personal direction via the song was his collaboration with gospel star Kirk Franklin, who arranged the code and played an important role as spiritual catalyst for Kelly in the early part of 1995 as he sought a more blessed direction in both his professional and personal life. As Franklin first recalled Kelly's reaching out to him, "The brother really motivated me. He called me a few months ago and said, 'Kirk, you know, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.'" By linking up with Franklin, Kelly was in effect acknowledging both to himself and to the public that he had grown tired of the way he had been leading his life. Clearly acknowledging that he was concerned with the type of behavior he had been engaging in through the course of living the life of a young, charismatic superstar. Before announcing his desire to change to the world, according to Vibe magazine, he told it quite quietly to a friend, fellow R&B star and spiritual mentor Kirk Franklin in early 1995, remarking that, "I really want to get some things in my life right with the Lord." Franklin's early attempts to wrestle Kelly away from the perilous lifestyle that had engulfed him up to that point gave what is arguably the best glimpse into Kelly's leading paradox at the time he sought out help. Hey, Michelle. The cruise of this conversation was a struggle to manage his incredible talent alongside the wild lifestyle that routinely competed with it for Kelly's attention, such that while Franklin readily recognized Kelly's ability, he also easily identified those areas of Kelly's life which were adversely influenced him away from, which were adversely influencing him away from a holier path at the time. We flew to Chicago to record Rob Kelly, and we flew into Chicago and got in around 6 in the evening. But we didn't record him until 6 in the morning. It was like mad crazy to wake up at 6 and go, okay, R. Kelly is ready for everybody to pack up and go to the studio. His breath was stinking from partying all night before. He had the eye boogers and all that. But it was a blessing. The man is truly gifted from heaven. Commercially, R. Kelly would be another hit. Can you believe what I just read right now? Wow. Commercially, R. Kelly would be another hit, both validating and confusing Kelly's spiritual search. As the album was quickly certified double platinum by January of 1996, and its first single, "You Remind Me of Something," was certified platinum. In February, Kelly was nominated for a Grammy Award for Songwriter of the Year for his collaboration with Michael Jackson on You Are Not Alone, and in March released his second platinum single off of R. Kelly entitled Down Low, Nobody Has to Know, which peaked at the top of the Billboard Hot R&B single charts for 7 weeks. The Hot R&B single sales chart for 7 weeks. The Hot R&B singles airplay chart for a week. And the dance music maxi singles sales chart for 3 weeks. In June, 12 Play was certified quadruple platinum and R. Kelly triple platinum as his third album single, I Can't Sleep, Baby, If I, was released, topping the Billboard R&B singles chart for 2 weeks and certified immediately platinum in August of 1996. Daddy, can you give me a second, guys? All right, sorry guys. Once again, my voice is hoarse. Please forgive me, y'all. Okay, where were we? Okay, so immediately platinum in August of 1996. Though Kelly felt seriously out of touch with God at the time he sought out help. He had been raised in a religious household, crediting his mother for instilling his religious roots, explaining her philosophy as one in which you put God first. And if you go to do something, you might as well master it. What appeared to be fundamental in Kelly's personal struggle was reconciling a relationship with the Lord that existed in the present and in person, rather than it had in the past, very much vicariously through his mother. Kelly had, up to the point of her death, seemed to identify with God very much via her as a channel of sorts, where in her absence he had no personal understanding of God as an active presence in his life. For Kelly, the two, God and his mother, were inextricably linked to one another. And his principal challenge lied in separating the two, which presented itself as an especially painful challenge for Kelly, given that his principal means of communication and understanding of the presence of God in life had just been delivered to heaven and out of his world. When you're successful, especially if you went into it without really having God or church in your life, it's hard. Admirably, Where others might have become angry or embittered, Kelly sought a higher path that he hoped would ultimately lead him closer to God, to his beloved mother. When my mother died, I felt that I didn't have anyone to call on anymore. My mom was like God to me because she was a good listener, but not I've started explaining my situation to God. I start every day by praying. Clearly, in seeking to be born again, Kelly desired, above all else, to have an active relationship with the Lord that he had not had in previous years, such that, despite what fans might think, people will put down and say what they want. It makes me no difference because people are not my God. I don't worry about what people say. That's the point of having a God and knowing who God is, so that you don't have to worry. You give it to God. I believe in myself and in what God has done for me. Defending his religious conversation to the public, specifically to fans who hadn't yet gotten enough of the raunchy, seductive persona that Kelly played out on record, stage, and in video. He rationalized that his personal identity was very much a different thing from his public one, such that there's R. Kelly and then there's Robert. R. Kelly is a thing on TV, but nobody knows Robert and what he's been through. Yep, nobody knows what he's been through or what he's doing. Okay? That's crazy. um, in further seeking to relate to fans so that they too might embrace his new struggle and sound and continue to buy his records, Kelly elaborated on his transition, explaining that I've been through a lot since my first album. I know I had a lot to say. In the growing of your success, the more you grow, the more you go through, the more you have to write about it. It's a big wind. It's a big wind. It's like a hurricane sometimes. The more it twists, the more it grows. The more it tears up, the more it spreads. That's pretty much what we're dealing with. Kelly had always acknowledged a divine inspiration as being largely responsible for his seemingly endless talent, remarking to one journalist, I respect the gift that God has given me as far as music goes. Now, he undoubtedly sought to live God's inspiration in his music rather than merely create music as a result of it. To that end, his first step was to make God a ready priority in both his personal and professional life. Excuse me. Such that what I've physically learned is to put God first in whatever it is I want to accomplish in this music business. Everybody else just isn't him. Kelly began on this path, musically at least, by refocusing his musical message to fans, explaining that through his songs, he desired his listeners to feel motivated. I want them to feel they can touch the sky, leap over the moon. I want them to feel that they can accomplish their goals in changing his musical direction. Kelly was almost identically altering his personal direction. And in unison, the two began on a journey towards spiritual enlightenment that Kelly told one journalist at the time began with both acknowledgement and concession by saying, I just began to believe that there was something bigger and better out there. For the most part, all I was doing was feeding my body, doing what made me feel good. Acknowledging that he had been selfishly focused with much of his early songwriting was something of a first step toward absolution from what he viewed as sins of the past. Wow. And I'm going to say this again. R. Kelly tells on himself every time. Every time. This is why he cannot take the stand. His lawyers are going to make sure that he does not take the stand. I think he needs to take the stand. Hello, Angelica. What's up, baby? So I think R. Kelly will not be taking the stand. This is not going to happen. He incriminates himself too much. Angelica said he's getting the chair. I agree, he is. Not the chair, pero I think he's going to do a lot of time. I think he's going to do a lot of time. If he please, I don't know if it's even too late for him to take a plea deal. Hi, baby. But I think that would be the best thing for him. Because if all the evidence that they have against him proves without a reasonable doubt that he did these things, he did the racketeering act, he did those man acts, and that he did the conspiracy, the bribery, the sexual assaults. If he did all these things, he's done. They might drop some, they might not. Who knows? The trial will start soon enough. No, Angelica, it's not his book. It's a book that was written by someone named Jake Brown. And I guess he's he's worked in the industry, I believe, as well. And he knows about R. Kelly and stuff like that. So it's a biography of his timeline of events that happened from in the early 1990s, from 89 to 2004 is when this book was written. So okay, let me find those. I'm sorry. Kelly revealed at the time, I'm at the point now where I'm saying, I know I got famous from doing these sex songs, but I know there is a God. I believe there is a God. I bought it on Amazon. This book was on Amazon, guys. Yeah, his trial starts in April for the New York racketeering charge, Angelica. The next step in Kelly's conversation involved refocusing the direction of his music, where, as spiritual advisor, Kirk Franklin looked at it. Robert doesn't have to do a gospel album to please God, but his subject will have to grow. His dialogue is going to have to change. God can give him songs to do about relationships. Why does every song have to be stick it, lick it, screw it? Okay. And that's what Kirk Franklin said. In shedding much of his superficial skin, Kelly was able to begin the process of getting to know a side of himself that appeared up unto that point to have been largely alien to him. As his conversation process got underway, he was engaging in a period of intense self-reflection. Remarking at one Franklin concert several months after his initial realization that it's been a long time coming, but here I am. It amazes me when I look back 8 months ago. Cars, women, money, the media, I had everyone's attention, but the Lord's. Every day I seem to be falling in love with the Lord in a very real way. Kelly seemed ashamed of the life he had been leading, remarking that before a crowd of thousands, here before you stands a broken man. Some may think it's a gimmick, but I tell you, I've come to find out that whatever you want, it's in the Lord. Oh my God, that was so fake. Don't tell me that shit was not fake. That was fake. I don't care what he's saying right now. That was fake. He's fake. He is fake. That was phony baloney. The hell out of here. You want to find God, but yet you're still being a horny ass. You want to learn how to read and write, but yet you're still being a horny ass. What? Come on now. And these quotes are from interviews that he's had. This is not just something that somebody's making up. These are his actual words. And this author is putting it together in a timeline for you. No, it's crazy. Yes, Angelica, a narcissist and a sex addict. Yep. In the course of his religious conversion, Kelly began his real trial with the recording of his third album, R. Kelly, which reflected in many ways a complete 180-degree turn from the erotic nature of music Kelly had made his name on up to that point, with titles such as The Sermon, Heaven If You Hear Me, Religious Love, what's up, Diva? And perhaps the album's most revealing song, Trade in My Life, which Kelly recorded with Franklin and which Kelly dedicated to his deceased mother. While Kelly was eager to head out commercially with the results of his personal enlightenment and recommitment to God, he clearly felt nervousness on some level concerning how fans would receive his new sound. So much that in one interview after another surrounding the album's release in the summer of 1995, Kelly sought to paint his music renewed spiritual focus as a natural step in his larger career direction, rationalizing that sex doesn't control me. Take away the sexy bump and grind, and you can easily put in the gospel lyrics. With the release of R. Kelly, Jive Records geared up for what they hoped would be a platinum reception to Kelly's refocused musical message, with the label's senior marketing director, Jazzy Jordan, remarketing at the time that a lot of the people will be surprised by Robert's level of sophistication on this album. It's going to open for him in other areas. He's one of the few true performers in R&B today that can move as easily in one direction as the next. In attempting to be truly clued in and respectful of Kelly's altered musical direction, the label chose a more spiritual song, You Remind Me of Something, as the album's first single, with Jordan explaining, "We didn't want to be so commercially obvious and release Be Happy first. We feel You Remind Me of Something is more representative of where Robert is going with his music and will reach a broader audience." What? What? Hold up. Okay, You Remind Me of Something. Isn't that You Remind Me of My Jeep? I wanna ride it. Isn't that the song? Please tell me, somebody in the chat, anybody in Facebook or YouTube, tell me, isn't this that song? I'm confused. I'm confused. Isn't that the song? Isn't that? What do you mean going in another direction? It is? Girl, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? that What? Wait, you remind me of something is more representative of where Robert is going with his music than the song Be Happy? What? Is that really what his team thought? Really? Like they said, it's all marketing, huh? While the release of 1995's R. Kelly reflected something of a musical rebirth for Kelly in the more mature focus of the album's songs, he clearly felt he was still far from being ready to record an album focused entirely on God in theme. Example, a full-on gospel album. Someday, I believe I will. Sometimes, I believe I will end up singing gospel exclusively. But I can't sing gospel unless I'm all the way with the Lord. It's like a school thing. It's like when you start off with school, you can't start off graduating. You can't start off knowing. There are questions that have to be asked, and there are questions that have to be answered. That is my desire to one day be with God and the whole thing. But it's all about being real with myself. I believe eventually people are going to hear a gospel album, but I believe it's going to be real. I believe once it does happen for me in that area of my life, then I'm going to be completely that. I don't want to be in, out, in, out, in, out. That's my wish. In addition to his feeling personally uncommitted to any entirely gospel themed album, Kelly felt any attempt that wasn't completely reflective of personal conviction and religious commitment would be inappropriately received by fans and ultimately would be sacrilegious in what Kelly viewed as a very significant personal journey he was on toward oneness with the Lord. I would be setting me up, my fans up, and lying to God. You have to be grounded and groomed for something as big as that. You have to take it a step at a time. Wow. Hey, Matisse, did he really use the word groomed? Hold on 1 second. What do you want to have? Sorry about that, ladies. I had to handle business. So, hello, Mertice. How are you, baby? Um, I got a little hungry, y'all. All right. Where was I? Okay. Okay, still, despite Kelly's self-doubts about his abilities to reach the spiritual heights than he felt a true gospel album would require to accomplish. Others within the recording industry, including critic Nelson George, expressed confidence that Kelly, as the decade's most gifted R&B talent, would be up to task and that all would be watching in a similar belief and expectation. I don't know what triggered R. Kelly to say the things that he did towards spiritual revival, whether it was one particular event like it was for Al Green, who said God spoke to him one morning, or whatever it was, many things. But whatever it was, his decision will be watched closely. He could do both gospel and R&B, or he could simply write love songs with less explicit language. It wouldn't be suicidal to his career unless he gets really negative and renounces everything he's done up to this point. It's a matter of degree. Following the release of his third album in 1995, an extremely trying and intense period of spiritual discovery, whose greatest single challenge Kelly had summarized as being consistent about being consistent. The superstar was approaching what many critics believe to be a point of legitimate musical enlightenment that could only have been religiously inspired late in the year, when, at the request of friend and Chicago Bulls superstar Michael Jordan, Kelly penned what would become his biggest and most inspired hit, I Believe I Can Fly. I Believe I Can Fly was Kelly's first real attempt to let the world know he had reached a personal level of higher spiritual enlightenment, such that Kelly believed the song was truly a result of the touch of God, where he came to believe that God wrote that song because it was so special when it came to me. It was not like any of the other songs I've written. I was going through a lot of things when this song came to me. It was really ministering to me. It made me feel good and gave me life. It made me feel that anybody, it was more powerful than anything I've ever had to do with. That's why I feel like I didn't have anything to do with it. I Believe I Can Fly is something else. That's a whole other level. I was just the one used for that particular song to come out for my own self and for others as well. Quick to become a favorite of church choirs nationwide. The song was the best evidence yet that Kelly had made progress in his journey, growing as both a person and a songwriter by broadening both his awareness of the Lord and his ability to reach and affect a larger listening audience through that divine consciousness. Kelly elaborated at the time of the song's release on the latter, explaining that his songwriting had grown beyond its early focus on the bedroom in an effort to reach out and touch other people. As a songwriter, I now write from feelings and experiences. Some songs are based on passion, which is something I think we all feel deep inside. Some songs are more emotional, like a cry out to the world. The song's release was a testing ground for Kelly, and the reaction it received from the fans worldwide was a genuine acknowledgement that he was on the right path. Commercially, the song performed heavenly, topping the Billboard Hot 100 single sales chart for 7 weeks, the Hot R&B singles chart for 6 weeks, the Hot R&B singles sales chart for 5 weeks, and the Hot R&B singles airplay chart for 2 weeks, and ultimately won him a Grammy Award. Kelly's shift in focus to the spiritual over the sexual brought with it the doors to the pop music kingdom, allowing Kelly the opportunity to expand and upgrade his collaborative resume in late 1995 and early 1996 to include collaborations with the creme of pop's crops, including its reigning king Michael Jackson, for whom Kelly composed and produced the chart topper You Are Not Alone. In writing for Michael Jackson, Kelly approached the experience with a mix of confidence and childlike nervousness at the opportunity to work with one of his childhood idols. As Kelly explained at the time, I was psyched. I feel I could have done his whole album. Not being selfish, I was just that geeked about it. It was an experience out of this world. It's amazing to know that 5 years ago, I was writing songs in a basement, in the ghetto, and now I'm writing for Michael Jackson, who came to Chicago to work with me. I'd be a fool not to say it's a dream come true. Kelly clearly felt that the bigger the opportunity, the better he would perform. And in that spirit, broadcast to all listening ears that whoever reaches out to me, I'm going to give them my best. Hold on a second, y'all. Wait. I'm going to give them my best. I'm going to give them my best. It makes me feel good to make someone from one level and take them higher. All right. Whether they're known or whether they've never been known, that's my job. That's what I do. And that's what I love. I have a passion for that. Not just writing songs, but taking people to certain levels, addressing concerns that his penchant for self promotion might be getting ahead of his ability to deliver in the studio. Kelly qualified his confidence by citing the circumstances under which he had come to work with Jackson, explaining, he reached out to me and asked if I had anything laying around. I was amazed when he called me because I just didn't expect to go to that level. It was an honor to work with him. When he got the tape, he called me backstage at a show and said, "When can we cut this?" It was truly a blessing. It was a very big honor. It wasn't exactly another day in the office for me. We spent days together working in the studio. We got to know each other and how each other works and respect the art. I had to argue with him on that song, make him sing it. He wanted the KC and JoJo track, Life, the title track from the Eddie Murphy motion picture soundtrack. I told him, "This song is you. Trust me, it's gonna be big." He settled down and got into it. In elaborating on the nuts and bolts of his work in the studio with Jackson, Kelly revealed a bit about his mental process in preparing to write for artists outside of his immediate genre, namely by establishing a creative cohesion by copycatting their style to make it temporarily his own. To the point where when I'm in the studio, I'm doing a Michael Jackson song, I think I am him. I become him. I want him to feel that too. That's why I record the vocals sounding just like him. When I gave him You Are Not Alone and he heard me doing his runs, he laughed. But I wanted him to feel how much I was feeling him. Kelly's collaboration with pop diva Celine Dion pushed him further into the mainstream as both a songwriter and performer, allowing even further declassification of his talent as limited strictly to R&B or pop crossover from that vein alone. A process Kelly described as simply about the music. When I wrote I'm Your Angel, I said to myself, man, this reminds me of Celine Dion. I said, I'm going to call her and see if she could be interested in doing this with me. I felt the song needed a female voice, and that's who I heard. I called, and she accepted. I was honored. The thing I love about her most is that it wasn't about color. It wasn't about who's who and what's what. It wasn't about R&B or pop. It was about a song that meant something to her. To me, it had no color. Additional collaborations during this period for Kelly included his penning and or producing songs for the likes of Janet Jackson, Toni Braxton, Quincy Jones, Whitney Houston, and the Isley Brothers. The commercial success of the collaboration for Kelly went beyond the immediate hit in further broadening industry acceptance of his talent, allowing its transcendence beyond the traditional R&B and even pop quarters and into genres that had historically been off limits to writers and performers popular in Kelly's R&B soul medium. Kelly clearly viewed himself as an equal, which allowed him to dare his next collaboration with the king of country music. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, y'all. I'm in and out too. Yeah, that's because I was dealing with the kitchen, so I'm back and forth, guys. I know you guys are like, what the hell she doing? Sorry, y'all. Motherly duties. Okay. Um, what the hell was I now? Damn it. Okay. Kelly clearly viewed himself as an equal, which allowed him to dare his next collaboration with the king of country music, pushing him to what could have been an almost paradoxical point had it not been for Kelly's chameleon like talent, as he reasoned by saying, putting together a song for country singer Garth Brooks. I don't like to think of myself as an R&B artist anymore. I've been through too much, been to too many places, written songs from country to pop, blues to jazz to gospel. I can't label myself as an R&B artist. When you've done what I've done, been where I've been, it's kind of hard to label yourself as one thing. Kelly's larger goal with his songwriting appeared to be for its eventual freedom from labels, as he felt God had brought him to a point where he could travel above and beyond any boundaries that musically encompassed peers of lesser holy conviction by saying that I wish that what they call pop, what they call R&B and soul were all just one thing. Because I will write anything. I don't really get into a certain category when I'm writing. The gospel feel is always mixed up in there because I grew up that way. I came out of the church, but whatever comes to my heart and my ears, I hear, and I will write. As Kelly began to settle down musically in 1995, in late 1995 and early 1996, he also, oh yeah, I need the light now. Damn, it's getting dark in here. um, to that end, Kelly began to attempt to end too much of his underage sexual triast, serving relations with Tiffany Hawkins, then 18, and focusing on creating an ideal homestead. Kelly had attained the wealth necessary to secure the family for, to secure the life for a family that he, as a child, had never had. Going as far as creating bedrooms for offspring he had yet to conceive in his newly purchased and renovated suburban Chicago mansion, which a journalist for Ebony magazine described as the centerpiece of Kelly's home. Wait, what? Wait. Did I just read that, y'all? Did I just read that right, y'all? Did that shit just say that he built a nursery room in this apartment? Even though he had no kids? What? Scratching my head now. Now I'm scratching my head. Lord, really? Yeah, like what who does that? Who does that? Wow. I tell you. And at the time he was still messing around with Tiffany and she was 18. He built the whole room. Says Tiffany, it says severing relations with Tiffany Hawkins, then 18. So in other words, severing, okay, relations with Tiffany Hawkins, then 18. All right, so he was breaking up with her that she was 18. He broke up with her, and then he focused on creating an ideal home. And he had enough wealth necessary to secure the life for a family that he, as a child, had never had, going as far as creating bedrooms for offspring he had yet to conceive in his newly purchased and renovated suburban Chicago mansion, which a journalist for Ebony magazine described as the centerpiece of Kelly's home. Although he says he doesn't have children yet, Kelly says he likes to spend time in the kids' room, which is furnished with television sets and a wall mural of him interacting with several cartoon characters. I'm done. Hold the horses. Hold the horses. Did I just read that right, y'all? Did y'all just hear what I just said? Really? What? ¿Qué pasó, papi? Oh, yeah. Okay, baby. Thank you. That is crazy. What? The children's room. I want to know if any of you girls remember this room. Oh my God. I'm having, wow, visions, weird visions right now. Holy snap. Things are coming to me. It's crazy. Wow. I'm just, and it's furnished with television sets and a wall mural of him interacting with several cartoon characters. He even likes his girls to wear cartoon characters on their panties, like kid panties. And he didn't like the girls to wear sexy underwear. He liked the girls to wear grandma panties or panties with, right? That's what Lisa Van Allen said. Oh my God, I'm very disturbed right now. Wow.
Dad, you know how dead I am? It's day 7. Numbers are always
And this is all allegedly, you know, this is a unauthorized biography. Wow. In describing the rest of Kelly's dream home, a true reflection of his dreams attained and indulged, the journalist painted the portrait of a breathtaking mansion on Chicago's exclusive near North Side, converted from a church. Oh, so this is the house that he that he converted to from a church to a home. And the multi-million-dollar home was painstakingly renovated last year by one of the city's top architectural firms, Restro, Restro, Restrepo, Restrepo Group Inc. The home in which Kelly lives about 1 week out of every month has an indoor. He only lives in that house 1 week out of every month, and it had an indoor basketball court with its own sound system, an indoor pool, a dance studio, and a 1,500-gallon shark-filled aquarium that is built into the wall. The wall aquarium, an idea Kelly got from a James Bond movie, also was home to several stingrays until they were eaten by the sharks. The great room includes a wall-hugging stairway that rises 27 feet and overlooks a grand piano, home theater system, and marble chess board, which is embedded in the floor. Oh, I think I've seen this apartment. I think I've seen this house. I don't know if I have it in my files. I think I do. I believe I do. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find them, and in the next reading, I'll show it to y'all.
See the amount of cannibals?
Yeah, a lot of truth. I think it's a lot of truth. It's a lot of truth, and what the author's doing is he's putting in interviews that R. Kelly has had in different places, in different timelines. It's deep. Now, Kelly personally explained away the extravagances of the home as a matter of practicality reasoning. When I'm not on the road, I'm at home most of the time. Another of Kelly's rewards to himself for several years of endless touring and recording was a state-of-the-art recording studio he had constructed at the time, which he described as something that wasn't going to be some big art gallery or anything like that. I'm building it where light makes things happen. Light is very important to me. A lot of times I write a song with a shade of light showing through the window with no lights on inside, just natural light. It reminds me of the days when my grandmother fixed me oatmeal. The light would shine through the window at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's a very important thing in the way I'm building the studio. It's not going to be that big, but it will do the job. R. Kelly, R. Kelly, R. Kelly. Why didn't you get help? Why didn't no one help you? Oh boy. In attempting to reel his wild ways toward a more refined and long-term definition of what he desired in a companion, much of what he sought was clearly derivative, I can't even pronounce it, derivative, I can't say it, of what he loved in his own mother. Derivative, I can't say it. So much that, as Kelly described his ideal woman to one journalist, he explained that there's a bone-deep sensuality that I love about our Black women. For example, whenever my mother and I talked over tea, I remember how she would leave her lipstick print on the teacup. Seeing that moved me for reasons I'm not even sure I understand. So when I'm out with a young lady, chilling and drinking tea, if she's wearing lipstick and leaves her print on the cup, I find myself falling in love with her. At least for that moment. Love is real for me when that one special lady not only gets inside my head and really understands me, but also makes me believe I can do anything. My mom, who passed away last year, was special like that. She set the tone for my involvement with the ladies. What? So when I find a woman who makes me feel like I can knock down Chicago's Sears Towers, all I can say is, that's it. Wow. Wow. That's crazy, y'all. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Now, Kelly found that woman in late 1996. Now, in 1996, isn't that when that whole thing happened with Tiffany Hawkins? That she sued him, and they finally settled, I think, in 1998, right? Something like that. Now,
You see that, right? Yeah, you saw that? Yeah, did you just he threw a Molotov at
Kelly found that woman in late 1996 when he married a 22-year-old dancer from his touring troupe who would later give birth to his two daughters, fulfilling his dream of a family of his own. Kelly's decision to settle down and begin a family was part of a larger effort to put his partying past behind him. Though the singer himself would admit at the time that effort was an ongoing and extremely challenging one. I'm growing, and it's a part of growing. You start seeing yourself for who you really are because you start seeing life for what it really is. And you start having kids and a family and a wife and stuff. You don't want to hurt the ones you love, and you don't want to make the same mistakes. Though Kelly had made great strides between the late 1994 and early 1996 to put the past behind him, it would catch up with him, unfortunately, before he would get the opportunity to shake it. And Kelly, once again, would seek throughout of concert settlements. I'm sorry. Kelly once again would seek through out of court settlements with several women who sued him beginning in 1996, alleging, among other charges, that he engaged with them in sexual relationships while they were still underage. To hide a truth that ultimately would reveal itself to the world in the years to come and threaten to ruin everything Kelly had worked to build for himself in the course of his spiritual reconstruction. Now we have some pictures here. Let me see if I got some pictures. What is the first picture? Did I get the first picture? Nope, that's not it. Oh, this is it right here. This is the first picture in the photo gallery. And it's R. Kelly on the second right. And he poses with his first group, MGM. Back in the day, this was on the set of their video for their debut single, Why You Want to Play Me, in 1989. So here's the guy right here, bending over into the camera with the all black on. And then on the bottom is after the group disbanded. R. Kelly is pointing. He's the one pointing And that's the former group public announcement. And this was in 1992. This next one here is R. Kelly performs during an in-store appearance for the release of his CD 12 play. And this was in 1993, the picture on the top. The one underneath it is at a party in his honor. R. Kelly poses with his platinum plaque for his CD 12 play and the single Sex Me, Part 1 and 2. This was in 1993. That's him on the bottom as well. This is the next one. This next one here is R. Kelly met up with comedian George Wallace at his platinum party in 1993. Then on the bottom is R. Kelly and his dancers performing during the video for his single Bump and Grind, and that was in 1994. Okay. Oh, I didn't get to put the other pictures up. Oh, okay. And this one here is at his party once again, and he's with Bernie Mac at the top. On the bottom, at his party in Chicago in April of 94. The same day of the party. Wow. Wait 1 second. Let me figure out what the hell I got going on here. Which picture is next? It's this one. Okay, I think it's this one is next. Sorry, I'm just adding more pictures in here. No, it's still this one. And this one's him in a concert at his 12 play tour in Chicago in 1994. Then this one over here is R. Kelly performing at the WGCI seminar in the Hyatt Hotel in 1994. And the one on the bottom is him as well. He had an in-store appearance for his CDs at George Music Room in Chicago in 95. Now this one right here, that's his dog 12 play. And this was during a break in rehearsals for his Down Low tour in Los Angeles in 1996. Now, what happened to that dog 12 play again? Isn't that the dog that died? I can't remember. Is that the dog that Lizette Martinez was talking about? Isn't that the dog? If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Lizette Martinez said something about the dog, and I believe it was that dog 12 play. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was. Does anybody remember that interview? All right. It's a lot of pictures. I don't know if you want to go through all the pictures, but we could just go into chapter 6. Right? Right. All right. I'm going to read chapter 6, and then we're going to call it a wrap. All right, guys? You know, my throat and stuff, and I don't want to strain myself. And then I'm going to go on later on. I will be on Brooke's panel tonight. If you guys get a chance, you can go to her channel and set up the reminder to go over to Brooke's channel later on at 10 p.m. We're going to have a panel. I forgot what the topic was again. But if you guys are interested, please come on over. Hang out with me on Brooke's channel later on tonight, 10 p.m. I forgot what we were talking about. Let me see. All right, chapter 6. Falling apart at the seams. Okay. All right, falling apart at the seams, chapter 6. R. Kelly's breakup with Aaliyah in late 1994 put him back in a dangerous place with his personal insecurities concerning trust. And as his career continued to skyrocket, Kelly was again looking for love and acceptance in all the wrong places. He admitted in an interview where he conceded that by indulging the attention of the fans and groupies who admired him for his talents, he opened himself up to be taken advantage of in the process. Lord. There he goes, trying to point the finger at everybody else except for him. I'm a real person, and I love people. That's my problem. I let people into my world, and they fuck some things up. It was this period of indulgence and excess that first caused Kelly in late 1995 to seek out the counsel and advice of gospel star Kirk Franklin, who at the time assisted him toward making serious strides toward reforming what Kelly felt were the out of control areas of his personal life. He even inspired the R&B superstar to change musical direction in mid-career, a career feature not easily achieved for any star. Prince pulled it off in the early 1990s to some degree by changing his name to an unpronounceable symbol in an effort to combat Warner Brothers over contractual differences. But Kelly was not trying to hide from a name or a past for that matter. He was working hard to put what he acknowledged to be an unnamed problem behind him, which he later openly acknowledged to be a problem with women. We're all human, and I'm dealing with something. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Kelly had rooted much of his problem back to the time immediately following his mother's death. Particularly his inability to have known who he should have surrounded himself with in the way of advisors. Since his mother had been his biggest influence up to that point, Kelly revealed this in an interview with one reporter, where he laminated that the people I trust aren't here, and I don't know anybody's motives anymore. In light of this, Kelly described his immediate instinct in the wake of her passing as one in which I didn't want to live anymore. I put a gun to my head and all that. And though Kelly eventually saw the light and put the dark period of insecurity, which led him to use poor judgment and lack of appropriate discretion in his choice of coping partners, mainly underage women, behind him, that period of his life began to catch up to him through his private life. On December 24th, 1996, Tiffany Hawkins, the woman whom Kelly ended an illicit sexual relationship with upon her turning 18, presented him with a lawsuit loaded with allegations that threatened to blow Kelly's career to pieces. Hawkins' suit, filed in Cook County Circuit Court of Chicago, Illinois, against Kelly, personally, as well as his label, Jive Records, his publishing company, and management organization. Hawkins charged, among other allegations, that she had been subjected to 3 years of personal injury and severe emotional damage due to what she alleged to be an intense 3-year sexual relationship with the singer that began when she was 15 and still a student at Kenwood Academy, and lasted until late 94, when she turned 18, during which time she engaged in repeated instances of intercourse with Kelly, as well as group sex acts and more. Acts with other underage girls at Kelly's urging. She also charged that Kelly encouraged her to drop out of school and work full time for him as an employee, which also put Kelly in potential violation of a number of sexual harassment laws. Kelly countersued for $30,000, but eventually made the decision to settle after hearing the contents of a 7+ hour deposition in 1998. Wow. Tasha. So when they said that he had countersued Tiffany Hawkins, and it was supposed to be allegedly that she was pretending to be pregnant or something, right? So he wound up dropping that suit to settle with her out of court because after he heard the 7-hour deposition in 1998, he agreed to pay her $250,000 in a settlement with Hawkins out of court in exchange for her sealed testimony, for her silence. Kelly's label sought to distance themselves from the lawsuit at the time, not only supporting R. Kelly's content, but rather by arguing in their formula response to paramount in the privacy of their home has not to do with my throat. I can't go on no more, guys. I'm trying to keep it up, guys. I'm trying. But you know what? I think we're going to leave it here. We're going to leave it here. I'm going to start again back on December 24th talking about Tiffany. And I'll probably come back tomorrow. If not, I'll skip a day and we'll come back another day. I got to give my throat a little rest. I really do. All right. Does that sound okay, guys? I gotta suck on another. Yeah, mommy, that's what I gotta. That's my tea and warm water with salt. Yes, baby. It's been working little by little, pero I'm not giving myself rest either. You know what I mean? I gotta rest my throat too. So, alrighty, guys. So please remember, I will put up another reminder when I'm gonna schedule another live. Please don't forget to hit the like buttons on your way out. And I will see you around, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Tonight, hopefully you guys can come check out me, Brooke, and Angie tonight on Brooks Live at 10 p.m. I hope to see you guys there. Peace and